Hello comic fans, here's Earl Grey, one of the young, the modern, the hip cartoonists of whom I thought, hey, I could skip his stuff, I could ignore him, has been for a while now bastien vivès. But as it is sometimes, then you see something like this cover here, for instance, or this fancy box by Fantagraphics, that I just can't ignore. I mean, look at this stuff here. This is a beautiful slipcase with spot varnish, as you can see here. Very nice design. And this on the back. It comes actually with this blurb here on the background, so you see this. But you can easily remove that blurb here, and or you leave it on the back of the cardboard here. But I would recommend to peel it off so that you can see this beautiful backside. No pun intended. Oh, it was intended, actually. So yeah, and we have a two-part series here, two stories that really belong together. When you have finished the grande odalisque, you will want to read Olympia for sure. In case you can put up with his style, and that is one of the reasons bastien vivès style, as it is. That is one of the reasons why I thought I will want to ignore the guy here. There are two other creators involved here, Rupert and Mulot, both artists and cartoonists and writers, so I don't know how big their influence here on this book was. And very important, obviously, are the colors by Isabelle Merlet. I guess in the second book we have even two people on the colors. Yeah. Again, Isabelle Merlet and Jean-Jacques Rouget. And yeah, I think the colors really make here the difference to other bastien vivès comics that I've seen before. Because he is really a man of the outlines, of very minimalistic approach, realistic yet minimalistic. When he puts a line down on the paper, that has to be enough. He very often even leaves out the eyes, which irritates me a bit. I have to say, almost every time I spot this, and it's not rare that he leaves the eyes out and doesn't draw them. It's a mannerism, I think. It's just, hey, I'm so cool, I can even draw my characters without eyes or something, and some kind of even a trademark. To be hipper than others, and that doesn't sit well with me. But it works, actually. I mean, you have these action sequences. You don't have to be too squeamish when there's violence applied to pets or to... it's not really a pet, that dog, but... and you don't have to... it's better if you're not too sensitive about violence to paintings, because the Louvre almost got destroyed in the run of the story, without spoiling too much here. We have these two ladies here, good friends. They are art thieves. And they, as you could see here in the beginning, they stole this painting here. I would I'll rather argue that this is maybe the most valuable painting in the whole story, Le Déjeuner by Manet. So this is a bit goofy that they are introduced to us stealing this very expensive painting and then their next job has to be stealing the grande odalisque by Ingres. And yeah, I mean, this story, you don't have to take this too seriously. I mean, there's action all over, and here you have a scene again where he didn't draw the eyes. And you can see here the importance of the colors. Without the colors, some panels would just be too naked for me. But with the colors, you really have a good feel for the story, and it's a fun story about the friendship of these three eventually ladies planning their next heist. And as it is with many of these heist stories, you should not think too deep stuff into this. You don't have to reflect about the probabilities of success, if it is really possible that they can go through with it. Because let me tell you, what these three here try and do in the run of the story, and robbing the Louvre, is pretty much over the top. And it's enjoyable as hell. It's just a fun ride. Then we have the second volume, Olympia, done by the same creative team. A very beautifully made book as well, with spot lacquer varnish there. And now they go, as the title suggests, for the Edouard Manet painting Olympia, amongst other artworks. Beautiful colors that are really very highly important for this kind of minimal artwork, line work, I have to say. But it works together, and now we know about the characters, so we have really nice character moments in the story here, and we don't have to be introduced to these pretty different, very on-point characterized protagonists there. So the story lives and breathes around these three ladies here and their idiosyncratic attitudes, and they don't care, especially this lady here, Alex. She doesn't care if she brings herself or her companions into dangerous situations if her crazy head suggests otherwise. On the bottom line, it's a fantastic, crazy, nice comic. And there's even Lady Gaga in it. Right there. So, and there was another book by Bastien Vivès that caught my eye, literally in my eyes. In meinen Augen is this book here. It's a small trade paperback done by, put out by the German publisher Reprodukt. By the way, there's a German version of these two as well from Reprodukt, but they're smaller and they're just trade paperbacks. So I would really recommend to my German viewers to, don't be bothered by reading a bit English and go for these books. They're amazing. The production qualities of the fantagraphics books are really amazing, as I think have proved, given proof to you. So, and now this book here, In My Eyes, is a book that we experience through the eyes of the narrator. And it's done exclusively with colored pencils and a bit of ink to point out the focus of the narrator, of the artist, because we see here this beautiful lady there, a student, reading her books, trying to learn, and then she suddenly realizes that she is watched. She tries to ignore it, but then after they talk a bit with each other, they become acquainted with each other, and a little romance ensues. And the strength of the story here is that it is not original, aside of the art, how it is presented here, which is a very unique idea. We really realize how he is obsessed with every little movement that she makes, every laugh, and how she wraps her scarf around her neck and so on. All the little details that you can that you observe when you're in love, and that you cherish and repeat in your brain again and again. And what it makes so great to be in love. And obviously we can understand him because she's really beautiful. Maybe he is a bit too much focused on the outside, and but it's hard to talk about this book here without spoiling too much of it. But you can see it's him watching, but we never see him. It's just and then some other guys come by, talk with her, and his brain obviously turns into a pulp, so he can't follow the conversation there, and he doesn't want to, but she'll come back to him. And there's a sequence that when he visits her the first time, and he goes up all these staircases and so on, and this is a situation, I mean, that's a really original way to depict a kiss. Here. Then he visits her, and you see our narrator going up without words the stairs, and one stair after another, and then he's in her room there. But yeah, a beautiful little book. The story is actually not much. I mean, you can read this book here literally in half an hour or less. And it's a rather short story, even maybe just a sketch of a story. So it's fitting that it's made out of sketches, but it's a really interesting attempt. The end, though, will leave you unsatisfied in many ways. So these were my 2 or 3 cents about Bastien Vivès, about these 3 comics by Bastien Vivès. Highly recommended. Art-wise and story-wise, I would say really, if you like beautiful books and silly heist stories, you can't go wrong with Olympia and the Grande Odalisque. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.